So the young lady that said that Bushiri was in the Bible, you remember that lady? Yeah, that lady right there. So she's back, and now she has a very exclusive title, and you can see there. The title of the video is Amapiano is a marine spirit. So, I kunzima. We're gonna be over there. Let's hear what exactly she says. This is the reality show. Daily Christian commentary videos. Other episodes done today. They'll be done in the pink comment. So check them out over there. Highly appreciate your time. So let's hear what's going on here. And what is she saying this time? Okay. Last time when you was talking about Bushiri being in the Bible, I was like, hi, you might want to confirm that one first. I don't see Bushiri in the Bible. Nah, then. Okay, so this is what she said.
Amapiano don't originate from South Africa.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are currently arguing this thing, but Amapiano don't originate from South Africa, but they originate from the Marine Kingdom.
Now, I think this argument of whether Amapiano is from South Africa and so forth comes from the whole debate that, now Amapiano sounds like it's being taken by the rest of the world, like everybody else is having their time with it. And bringing up their own versions of it or whatnot and stuff like that. And so that's where the debate or the discussion originally came from. And so I guess maybe she was responding to that audience over there. All right.
Whenever something is backed up by marine powers, it is going to be known globally. It is going to be felt globally. It is going to influence the entire world from a global scale. Amapiano were first produced in South Africa, but if you check where it originates from, it is from the Marine Kingdom, not the country South Africa. If you check one of the first few albums that were released when Amapiano were becoming popular, it is called something Scorpions. In the book of Mark chapter 16 verse 17, it tells us that you will tread upon serpents and scorpions and it shall not harm you. Now,
wow. That's the proof. That's the proof that Amapiano is not from South Africa, it's from the Marine Kingdom, because there is a Bible verse that says you will tread upon scorpions. And I think the Scorpions album that she's talking about, it's Maporisa and what's his name? Kabza Small. Let's be very clear. The reason why Amapiano hit the world by storm is that strong bass at the background, It hit strong. That sound, you will hear it. It just hits at the core, okay? And so that's the first reason. Number two, the album she's talking about had Maporisa on it. For those that are outside the country, Maporisa is a very popular South African musician. He's been in the industry for years. And so whatever he had been doing by the period had been popping off and it becoming popular. And he's had multiple influences on the music industry. The songs he's contributed to and stuff like that. And these people are talented again. That's another thing that you might have heard me mention on the video which we spoke about. That young man who said that the devil works for him. And he's a Amapiano artist as well by the name of Zulu. So when you listen to the guys doing their music, they're talented people. Okay? The problem is that they are deceived by the devil to fall for the success that he offers them. Whether they sold themselves or what, that's a different subject. But to say the genre of music is from hell, I don't know. I think people it's the same thing. What I'm saying here is the same thing that I said when that video of Pastor Ano Isike came out saying that the dance of Umlando was from the Marine Spirit. That's what the Marine Spirits dance and stuff. And I'm like, no. And the popularity of it is because it involves the waistline. Dances that follow the waistline are always popular. We all remember Shakira. And why was Shakira so popular? Shakira had these dance moves involving the waistline. It's not because the demons were behind it. We all remember, what's her name? Sierra. When Sierra was out there, the girl was popping. She was everywhere. Why? She was doing waistline dances, and that's how we got to know her. Doesn't seem to have sold her soul because she never stayed relevant. But because of that influence, the human eye will keep you relevant, basically. That's what that is. That's why right now, these story times about people being involved in sexual, funny, weird acts and stuff like that are so popular. Why? The perverted idea. It's a perverted idea, but then it's popular because of human interest. And so we shouldn't dismiss that the human interest can be in something and it becomes popular, but also being it that it had Maphorisa inside, who is a major producer, it might catch on just because of that fact alone. And because Maphorisa is so consistent and talented, people might likely just feel like, you know what, if Maphorisa is doing this, let's just go on and do that. And so to just tagline everything on the devil and avoid human influence, okay? Avoid how humans are influencing their surrounding. For me, it doesn't do it justice. Let's go back to the video over there. And she says,
with demons and Satan himself.
Okay.
It tells us that you will tread upon serpents and scorpions and it shall not harm you. Now, scorpions and serpents have to do with demons and Satan himself. So look at the connection. Scorpions.
Okay. So scorpions and kings. I think there's like an entire line of that. I think there was a movie where it was thinking kind of like the Godfather type of a version. That's where that whole thing of scorpion and king came from. And I'm not making a justified idea to say that it wasn't inspired by the devil. I don't know that, but I do know that there is actually a reference you can kind of like give it. It's kind of like the Godfather thing. But anyways, she's found something, I guess.
Are deadly. So they have poison. Once it stings you, you are going to die. One of the female artists who is currently globally known, as I told you before, if you check everything of hers, you are going to see dragons. And if you look at the book of Revelation chapter 12, the dragon actually is the devil himself. It is Satan himself. And I'm trying to show you that the Amapiano genre, it is actually a spiritual thing.
Ooh, which artist is she talking about? She's talking about Waffles. I think that's the name of the lady. For me, Waffles' popularity is this idea of pretty girls doing DJ work and stuff like that. But also, there must be talent that goes with it. But also, she reveals a lot. And so, like her appearances when she's performing and stuff like that and all that. So there's a lot of factors around that. It's not just, I don't know if she's talking about that one. And for me, Waffles, it's a different subject. I'll get into Waffles' story because it's a different thing altogether. But which one? Which artist?
Which is why a lot of people, once they jump onto this trend, they start behaving in a way that is not normal because it is sponsored by marine powers, the trends, the music, the chants. There was a time where, even now it's no longer happening, there was a time where they were chanting through the genre. Now it's no longer happening. There was a time where they were chanting through the genre, chanting things you could not understand, chanting.
I did see that video she made earlier on about them chanting and stuff like that. And I did kind of like see it and I was like, if that's the only thing, I don't, personally, I don't buy it. And I'm not being skeptical of her, just sometimes we don't have to over-spiritualize these things. Some of these things are just human interest. Because the human nature drives or thrives in sin, it will continue to create sinful things. The Bible talks about people that continuously invent new ways of evil. The Bible talks about that. And so I don't think it's not everything that's demons are behind. Sin, the sin nature is after certain things that will I hope you get me. This flies within the whole prophetic movement, casting out demons and what. Why? Because everything must be spirit. There is a spirit behind it, and it removes the responsibility of the people being responsible going forward. But anyways, let's just listen on.
Words that the human brain cannot even understand. Why? Because it's from the marine kingdom. Amapiano is a spirit, okay? It is a spirit that is territorial. It is a spirit that aims to take over every location.
Okay, if Amapiano is a territorial spirit, then it going global, is it still territorial? So, by her own definition, it kind of,
which is why now everybody's arguing, does it come from Nigeria or does it come from South Africa? Even Europeans, even people in America love this music. Why?
I don't understand why people will be arguing that. Actually, yeah, I know that the argument is there, but it's a silly argument. Okay, people in Nigeria might feel like the sound comes from them because they have not listened to the locals, to like South African, but Amapiano is clearly from South Africa. Clearly. It's like Kwaito. It's like the Kwaito of the world to the rest of the world. And so that argument, guys, it's just silly.
Because Amapiano is a spirit that comes from the marine kingdom. If this music was produced somewhere else, it would have been called another name. It's just that it was produced in South Africa. That's why it's called Amapiano. Okay. This is why ever since there was this genre, children are behaving in a way that is not normal. Teenagers are behaving in a way that is not normal. Why? Because Amapiano is a spirit.
I personally don't see what she's saying or what she's pulling at. The reason why kids are behaving the way they are, it's because the Bible shows that they will be like this in the end time. So by claiming something just being a spirit, it takes away from the Bible. Even prophesied that in the last days people will have preference for themselves. It says that kids will be disobedient, self-preserving, and not having the love of God. The Bible says in the last days that's the thing you're going to see with people. And so it doesn't necessarily put it on. But anyways, do you see what I mean? What I mean is, by just simply putting it on and saying, oh yeah, it's a spirit that comes from Amapiano, it doesn't address the disobedience as a whole. Kids are just being disobedient, okay? And it's not because Amapiano has made them disobedient. That just puts it over there. Then those that don't listen to Amapiano, how do you address that? How do you talk up to that? You see the kids on TikTok doing all kinds of things that don't even listen to Amapiano, or they probably don't even know it from overseas. What is that? Is it Amapiano? And so that's why I'm saying I'm not buying the idea here that she's going for. All right.
And it's behaving in a way that is not normal. Teenagers are behaving in a way that is not normal. Why? Because Amapiano is a spirit that has portrayed itself as a genre, and it is becoming accepted in every territory, and it's coming in those places to destroy, to set up trends, to destroy families, to destroy young people, especially young people. So yeah, if you're wondering where it comes from the Marine Kingdom, and the Marine Kingdom is actually real. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. the way she ends the video. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So for me, I get what she's going for, or kind of like the direction she's trying to take the video and stuff. But the Bible does say that kids will be just disobedient in the last days. And so to string it onto Amapiano, what about those that don't listen to Amapiano? So the devil is not having a hold on them, or is not influencing those kids, and so forth. It's that the subject matter is that disobedience in the last days is just going to be a thing. You're going to see more of it here, there, everywhere. Okay, but if you put it only on Amapiano, what do you make of these other people that have no, that are not exposed to Amapiano, that still are disobedient? What about those that were like that before Amapiano came up? You know, you box yourself because you are trying to over-spiritualize a small little thing. Address the things that you see clearly, with clarity. Yeah, address the things that are more clear, like things that are directly on lyrics, the artists, like the things that we made with the video of Zulu and stuff like that. And so to plague a genre with singing, as I've stated, the sound, it sounds a certain way. It hits. I might not listen to it. I generally don't listen to a lot of music anyways, right? But then at the same time, to take away the idea of people just liking the sound, it takes away a lot of it. There's human interest. What do you make of music as a whole? Because the instruments that are being used there are the same instruments that the microphones that are being used there, the recording studios are the same, and all that kind of stuff. It's so, and I know, let's not get this twisted. There is an evil towards these musical genres. Like, for instance, rock and roll. Rock and roll was literally the devil's music. They called it that, and they called it that in the 70s and so forth. But the music, a lot of the record labels prayed over their records before they were sold, and those songs sold like crazy. Bob Dylan, a very well-known rock and roll, he came out, confessed. What's his name? Jimi Hendrix. You hear people that knew him in the 70s, they say the same thing, that the guy was possessed. He lost himself into the sound. Black Sabbath, the musical group from which did rock and roll, the lyrics that they wrote, the songs that they wrote, Highway to Hell, a rock and roll song that was literally saying that they were not interested in being invited towards heaven, they were more interested in hell. There is a reference, a direct on reference, where you have people directly linking themselves with this, linking the devil with a genre. But to say that about Amapiano, it takes away that Amapiano comes directly out of house music, you know? And so it came out of house music, but then it created this sound that sounds different. And the whole thing of Amapiano is that it featured a lot of heavy basses and stuff like that and whatnot. And stuff. So there's the whole culture behind all these things. And that's what you might have noticed on this channel we've strayed from doing. As a matter of fact, I never did that. Okay. Just labeling everything evil. Okay? Unless there's really something very questionable about it. That's when I would say, you know, I would just never come out here and say, like, I haven't done so many videos on certain topics until I have a hard-on one. Like the one that I can say, like this one here. It shows you why so-and-so is like this. When I did the video about Michael Jackson's song, We Are the World, the song, you listen to the lyrics, the song is Antichrist, like directly. Okay? I spoke about a video of Brenda Fassie, and I didn't have the video when I spoke about it. And a lot of people were like, guess what? I found the video. Very soon I'll talk about it or publish it. Sometimes it's better to wait for having hard-on evidence, and you talk about those things. When you have, like that artist that we spoke about very recently, direct on, he says that the devil works for him. That's a reference. You want a person who's influenced by the devil, or who the devil is working for, to be the one that you are listening to, or who's in your ear. That's a question to raise. But just to plague an entire genre, it doesn't do justice, isn't it? And I remember this was kind of like the same thing that happened with the exposure of hip-hop music that was done by Pastor Craig Lewis. Great series of videos that he did, but then he plagues the entire genre with it. He makes the entire genre about that. Then what does he make of hip-hop gospel hip-hop? Because those people are not doing that. Then they used certain Christian popular artists to say, yeah, even those ones are not clear, right? And also earlier on, I also was like, yeah, no, even those ones are not. Because That's what was being preached. But then later on, I realized that you can't take an entire genre where a person might come out who is a clear musician, has no influence from thingy, he's not mainstream like your Lecrae's and so forth. Like Lecrae, look at what they did with Lecrae. They made him popular. When he got there, he completely denounced the gospel. They threw him out. Nobody's interested in Lecrae in the mainstream. And now he wants to preach the gospel. Now, he couldn't do it when he was there. When people were saying, he said, no, they're too judgy. And so that's what this industry does, human interest. It's not that Lecrae was influenced by the devil. Lecrae allowed the devil to speak through him. He allowed certain things to influence him, and then he went that direction. It doesn't do justice when we just keep finding ways not to say what directly we can see. Things with evidence help. But to just plague everything and say, yeah, the entire genre is just the devil. I don't think that's the best way. That's exactly what we've done with Ubungoma and all these things. You'll notice that we speak about those subjects in a very different way from how other people are talking about it. Other people just say, it's all demons. We don't go that route. We don't talk about, it's just demons. We talk about the hows. We describe and define. Before we say it's a demon, I would have described the foundation of the belief system so that you can see for yourself that, hey, there's no way this is right. Right? Instead of just saying, it's Amapiano. To describe it, we have more ways of, we sit and we understand things, and we can explain things much better than those that preached before us. And so let's do a better job. Eh? Yes. And to say scorpions, and then say, the scorpions, so therefore, that makes the genre diabolic. Come on. That still doesn't represent the other artists, right? Like I said, with Waffles' image is being pumped out like a Sierra type of an image. But anyways, that's a different subject altogether. For me, I don't see it. Maybe you see it, that the genre is of the devil. But how? Because remember, the genre comes from house music, right? So if it comes from house music, was house music also devilish? But then what do you make of those that are making house music gospel, right? What do you make of people that made house music that was not defiled, like Revolution? Remember the guys, Revolution? The Venda guys? Yeah, no violent stuff in their songs. So how then is all of it? So it doesn't address that part. And so it's better to be clear so that your message is not mixed up or misunderstood. It's Ricky. Y'all tell me what you think. And I think this is too much. Let's just stick to the things that we can clearly verify.